Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. Today we'll be reviewing the first day of the third test between Australia and India, the Sydney Test match. I think a day dominated by Australia. The first session was affected by rain, but after that, I think after a couple of wickets, it was Australia's day. They only lost two wickets and they scored like 166 runs. So Labuschagne and Smith at the crease right now, looking dominant and ominous signs for India. I have with me my brother Yusuf Ismail. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. Interesting day of cricket. Lots of a few talking points for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like starting the day, Australia winning the toss on a Sydney pitch, which is known to be flat and conducive to batting. And I think apart from the first few overs, there was no swing, no seam movement. So it was a good pitch to bat on. But David Warner, let's just talk about him first. He came out. You could see that like that was the reason why he came into the team to put pressure back on India. He was trying to be aggressive, but the in the first couple of overs, that single that he took, he completely looked like
Out of shape. He
yeah,
couldn't.
out of shape.
He
Like
looked unfit.
yeah, like people are saying he's not 100%. For me, he's not even like 60-50%. Like
But
because
he still hit one of the. He still hit one of the first balls for four. So that's it speaks to his talent. But I don't think he's ready.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know, but yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, that's why they got him to get those quick runs. But I just feel that that will get aggravated. Like, imagine he made a 50 or 100, he wouldn't have been able to run like that throughout because it was his second or third run of the day and he pulled up. So I think a very risky call from Australia. I don't know if it was a desperate call, but it was very risky. Like, I understand you want to win the Test series, but I don't think you should put the player on the line like that. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think like he's seeing the ball. That's not an issue. It's a physical ailment. So
Yeah.
I think they should have just rested him for the fourth test. It is definitely a sign of their desperation.
Yeah.
Not desperation in the sense that, oh my God, like we're losing and this is do or die, but it's like, okay, like they came back so strong against India in India second innings in the first test. And they're like, okay, we're on top, Australia, somewhere. And then India came out of nowhere and like, not almost knocked them out, right? It was like a big punch to the gut. So like definitely Australians don't take things lying down. So it was a natural reaction, but perhaps you should have left him out of the team and given more chance to prepare for the fourth test because you're going to play that anyway, right?
Yeah.
So worst case, if you lose, you have him to try to tie the series.
Yeah. Also, it could be that they assessed the injury and they probably felt that it can't be aggravated. But of course, it's not. He's not 100% fit, so they just played him. And they said if it's not going to get worse, it's fine. Let him play. And even a semi-fit Warner is beneficial. So maybe they went that way. But then, yeah, I think a very good trap set by Rahane just before he got out. He moved the fielder from the offside to the leg side. So I think Warner was assuming a more body line kind of line from
Yeah.
Siraj, but Siraj slanted it across him, played and miss, and then second ball right after that, he edged it to slip. So I think,
And there was no foot movement also in that dismissal
yeah,
by Warner. So yeah.
no foot movement, and then yeah, I think he slashed at it going for those quick runs. I think he had a specific role, and it didn't work out. But I think smart bowling by Siraj and then Rahane, a good captaincy from Rahane as well. But yeah, then
Yep.
after moving on from there, Pukovsky, the debutant. I think in the beginning when I saw him, I felt there was a flaw in his technique. Like this guy can get LBW. His leg stump can also fly because the way he shuffles.
Yep.
But he looked pretty good whenever he played the shots. The shots they looked like beautifully timed. He worked it through the leg side, played the cut shot through the offside. He played the straight drive. He looked pretty good. I felt Pukovsky, but. The turning point, though, not the turning point, but the talking point
This is
was,
what we have to talk about. This is what we
yeah,
have to talk about.
well, he got dropped twice, one on 28, I think, and then one on 32 by Rishabh Pant. The first one was a regulation catch. Like, I mean, no keeper can
Of
drop that.
Ashwin, yeah.
And then a second one shows the difference between somebody like a Saha, who's a full-fledged wicket keeper, and somebody like a Pant, who's a batsman keeper. So,
Yeah.
yeah, your thoughts on Pukovsky firstly, and then Rishabh Pant.
Pukovsky, he took his chances. That's number one. But when he did take his chance, he played very well. I think he's a decent. We can't tell for now. I think he is highly rated in the domestic circuit.
He's had eight or
That's why.
nine concussions, but like it shows that it's not like, so it does play behind, like at the back of your mind. But yesterday he still batted well, like despite all that. I think they tried the short ball at him. Maybe they should have tried it a bit more. He almost got out,
But
but then Punt dropped him.
he didn't come across as someone who is afraid of the short ball.
Yeah.
Like
So I
he's
mean,
not
yeah,
he's
he's
not
mentally strong.
susceptible. He maybe yeah, he's mentally strong. His technique didn't show in particular that he was susceptible to it, but the way he got out eventually it does show he shuffles a lot. And he moves across his wickets. So yeah,
Exactly.
he's not like amazing yet, but it's a good start for him. It'll do him a world of good that he got some chances and he at least
100%.
I think he made a 50, right? He made 62. So I think he's wait and watch for the rest of the series. Australians, they don't bring anyone into the team. Not anyone. Most times when they bring someone in, it's solid. They just don't bring in someone to rotate for a few matches. They believe in him, so I think they'll stick with him because Burns is out. And who else opened the? And I think Tim Payne is not playing, right? Is he? No, he is
Wade,
playing, but he's playing lower.
Matthew
Wade.
Wade.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Matthew Wade. I get
yeah,
confused between Wade and Payne.
yeah.
But yeah, so let's
Yeah,
see.
Wade is playing instead of Travis Head. He was opening the batting, and now they shift him down to
Yeah,
the middle order when
I think
with
he's
Bukowski.
playing three down. Matthew
Yeah,
Wade now.
yeah.
So I think it's a wait and see. And regarding Rishabh Pant, like, what can you say, right? Now he has to contribute with the bat. He can't do a 30-40. He has to prove his worth by scoring like 50 plus, maybe 100. And I don't know, man. Like, Dhoni maybe was a better keeper, but you had those same vibes from Dhoni because Dhoni was an attacking batsman, long hair, swagger, but he improved his wicket keeping. Whereas Rishabh Pant, it looks like it's getting worse. I don't know. I could be wrong, but it
Yeah, I
feels like
think the
there's more
surprise.
spotlight on him.
I
There's more of a spotlight on him.
I think he always had these flaws, and he's not improved on it. That's the worrying part. I think he's had these weaknesses, and he's not changed this, his technique. He's not like worked on it. It looks like he hasn't worked on it. Even like Gilchrist was talking on air that these are regulation catches. Like it's about technique. Like he doesn't have the technique. And to be very honest with you, I've been saying this from before. When you go overseas, yes, like you want Rishabh Pant there because he's the aggressive batsman. He's going to get you runs. But even if you're overseas or in India, in a test match, you need to have a fully fledged wicketkeeper. I feel if you want to play Rishabh Pant, you play him in place of Vihari. Even though Vihari hasn't done anything wrong, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
He deserves a place in the team right now. But if you want to go that way, you need Saha in the team. Yes, his batting is like not as strong.
His
as
batting
Pant's.
is decent, and T20s he's fantastic.
I
So
mean,
he's
he
got
hasn't
the
got runs.
capability. Yeah.
He hasn't got runs overseas. He's got runs in India, so he needs to work on that. But these chances, it's not just look. You know what happened? Bukowski got dropped 28-32. Then he eventually got off for 62. That's 30 runs, right? But it's not just those 30 runs. It's Smith coming out 50 runs later, coming out at 100 for 2 instead of 50 for 2. If he's coming out 50 for 2 with Ashwin coming in, bowling at him, it's a different ball game. Even though it's a batting wicket, flat wicket, it's a different ball game. I just wanted
the
to
mental pressure is different.
Exactly.
The mental pressure is different.
Exactly. You're talking about mental pressure. So I just wanted to give you evidence between 17th to 25th over, the run rate was 1.44. Means on a batting track, they bogged Australia down, bowling a tight line in length. And that was Ashwin, that was Siraj, that was Bumrah as well.
Saini came in late also.
Yeah, he came
in the 30th over.
Yeah, he came later, but during that time, it was 1.44, the run rate, right? And in that period, he was dropped twice. And then on a flat wicket, you're going to drop a batsman twice. He's going to make you pay for it. And then after, between 26 to 31 overs, even when Smith came on, the run rate was 6.17. So that's an increase of 5 in the run rate.
Wow, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I mean, it is a batting wicket. It's a good wicket to bat on, but like, the dropping catches, it's not just those 30 runs which are missed out. It's the whole situation of the game. And it's going to cost India 100%.
And it goes back to the first test, right? In the first test, they were very poor in the field, and that cost them big time, right? It allowed Australia to score more runs. And in this series, I feel every run counts. You can't take even 50 runs for granted, even 25 runs for granted, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if you had gotten in Steve Smith when it was 50 or odd or 60 odd, like you're saying, he could have, again, continued his run. But now he's stroking the ball beautifully. I think I saw a few straight drives. He finally got back at Ashwin, I think, because he came down the track and just lofted it without any follow-through.
He wouldn't have played that shot if they were 50 for 2, in my opinion. Because
down the track, and not just like, it was just a lift. So it's like he's found his form. I'm not going to say he's found his form, but he looks way better than he did in the first 2 test matches, and that's
he's continuing
never good.
He's continuing his form from the hotel room. Like in the hotel room, did you see him shadow batting the night before in his test kit?
No.
In his test kit, he was shadow batting and like
really?
Yeah, I mean, he looked in form there, and he's continuing that form. But yeah, I think
he didn't give a chance also, right? He also hasn't given a chance. Yeah,
he hasn't given a chance. But I just felt that he wouldn't have taken those risks if he came out earlier.
Maybe.
I'm not saying that he wouldn't have scored. He probably would have scored. It's a really good pitch to bat on, and Sydney is one of his favorite grounds. But it's just like, when you have the opportunity presented to you, you need to take it. Especially both catches. I think the second catch, the one Siraj, he bowls a bouncer. Again, we talk about Bukowski. this like problem with the short ball, concussion,
Yeah.
everything. And then he gloves him with the short ball. That would have caused problems for Bukowski in the future games, because it play on his mind. He's like, I have concussion now. I got my first debut match. I got out to a short ball, so everyone
Yes.
would have like picked on that as a weakness. So, but then he dropped that as well. Rishabh Pant, he didn't jump for it. It wasn't as regulation as the thing, but it's a keeper's catch. He should have caught that. So, yeah, I mean, we're being hard on him, but it is
I
gonna
don't think
cost
you're
India.
being on. I don't think you're being hard on him when he's had so much time to improve his fitness. Like, he's a stocky guy, right?
Yeah.
Let's not beat around the bush. Like, Kohli was always pushing him to get more and more fit. They post, like, on Instagram, or I don't know if it was not. I think Instagram. It's like, or Twitter. They post them working out at the gym. So, like, he's had time to fix his fitness. I'm not saying he's unfit, but his build is not the ideal build for a wicketkeeper,
Yeah,
right?
and
So he need.
exactly, and I think also his technique is the problem. Like people were saying, I read on Twitter that he talks a lot behind the stumps, but he doesn't focus and stuff. I don't think it's about focus. That chatter behind the
Hmm,
stumps is actually effective. You saw it got into Wade's head. I like
yeah,
that as a cricketer. I was like watching cricket. I really enjoy that. That's my personal opinion. But I feel it's
yeah,
not a matter of focus. It's a matter of technique. You need in Australia. You need to rise a bit above because of the bounce and stuff. You need to rise a bit earlier as a keeper. You need to be aware of the extra bounce, even like
yeah.
when keeping to spinners. I think he's only caught like 40 or 50% of dismissals to spinners, so like he struggles when the likes of
When the
Ashwin and
spin.
Jadeja bowls. And then he dropped. I think his rate is 93% for Pacers, but then he dropped Siraj's catch as well. So he needs to work on that 100%. There hasn't been improvement yet, but he needs to work on that. Otherwise, if he does contribute with the bat, then India have to seriously think of him replacing him for Viari and bringing Saha into the team, because you need a keeper in these situations, a full fledged. I'm not saying that Saha won't drop catches; he will, but these kind of catches, I don't think he'll drop. And also, secondly, his technique is much better. So I would go with that when you're playing a Test cricket.
And Hanuma Vihari is probably unfortunately, the obvious choice if you're going to make that strategy, right?
Yeah, unless Viari
Uh,
scores 100 in this test, then you're gone. Like then you have no choice but to drop. Like if you want to go with Saha, then you have to drop punt.
why do you think they went for punt in the second test match? Was there a given reason?
Before his batting, 100%. They before they had this thing that Saha will play home matches and Punt will play away matches. Then suddenly, I
Yeah,
think for the first test, they realized no, we need a proper keeper. They took Saha, but Saha didn't score as many runs with the bat in the lower order. They probably expected like 30, 40 runs. He didn't give that. Punt came in, he gave those 30 runs.
yeah.
And he could have scored more if he didn't play that loose shot. He could have scored even more. So I think that's why they brought him in. But like then the side effect of this is the wicket keeping, which it costs you 30, 40. It might even cost you more. So
It
um,
could, because Labuschagne looking good, man. He's back to his old ways. I think he's like the new
yeah,
Ponting and Hussey all in one. Like, he's got that reliability about him. He has the air of Damien Martin about him too. Like, the way his technique is, he
yeah.
plays very well. He's got a bit of Damien Martin in him. Like, very straight, very wristy. Also, I think.
Yeah, I call them Xerox copies. Like me and my friends have a joke, like they're exactly the same, Smith and Labuschagne. I don't know who's on strike, who's not. But right now it's looking ominous for India. I think 400 is also on the cards. There's rain around, so Australia will have to factor that in. I think
Yep.
they will up the run rate in that sense.
Hmm.
And India will need to take wickets. Like they need to set some aggressive fields, and like yeah, they'll have to contain runs as well. But they have to try and make sure they take a couple of wickets, because if Smith and Levishan bat out the first hour or so in the second day, it's going to be all Australia for the first innings.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be the biggest test of Rahane's captaincy in this series, because he's riding off a high. Everything was spot on. Everyone took their catches. Everyone batted well. This is like where I think the first time under his captaincy, Australia is applying the pressure, and they arguably have the upper hand. So you're going to see what Rahane, I guess, is made out of from a captaincy perspective. He's tough with the bat, so you would hope as an Indian fan that he's also tough with the captaincy, right? So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see. I think Mohammad Siraj, again, great story. He gave that interview before the Test match about how his father wanted to watch him play, or wanted him to play Test cricket, and he's continuing his run. He's taken the wicket. Saini again. You could have played Natarajan, but they went for Saini, and he got a wicket. So there is room for the Indian Pacers to come back into the game. Bumrah hasn't gotten a wicket. Ashwin was unlucky. I think India, it's poised, but Australia are definitely in charge. And I think if they don't get a wicket in the first hour, then it's going to be a long day for them.
Yeah, especially with the pitch looking belter, I think day two will be even better for batting. So right now it's advantage Australia. Let's see how it goes. But yeah, I think that wraps up this day, the summary of the first day. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope to catch you soon and take care. Enjoy the rest of the test match.
Thanks. See you tomorrow. Take care.
See you. Bye.